Super basic side control. The side control is one of the core positions in Jiu-Jitsu. Usually, not always, usually you get to it if you pass the guy's guard. Right, we're here, I pass the guard. This is side control. On your first day in Jiu-Jitsu, you're probably going to have something to do with side control. We're going to cover the very basic way to hold it and then a whole bunch of different variations that are still more or less side control, just so that when you come across it, that you recognize it and you go, oh yeah, this is side control. This is one of the 6 canonical positions of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, how do you do super basic side control? You get your leg in under his arm, you take your arm that's closest to his legs, you come underneath his arm, this is called an underhook. This hand comes under his head, I'm going to clasp my hands together, and I'm going to push his face this way. The reason I'm pushing his face this way is because if it's not, if he can face me, he can put me back into the guard. So, knee by the hip, knee under the armpit, hand under the head, hand under the armpit, clasp your hands together. Typically the hand that's coming under the head is going to be palm down. Now, let's go through the variations quickly. I can't go into every single reason for every single variation, but these are all also side control. So we've got one hand close to me, one hand on the other side of his body. I can also have both hands on the other side of his body. This isolates this arm more. I can also have the bottom hand on my side of the body and the top hand here. Some variations, I can have both hands on this side of the body. Those are the arm positions. So there are 4 basic arm positions. Legs, I can be on both knees here. I can have the knee by the hip bent. I can have the other leg straight. This allows me to drive. I can also have it the other way, depending how my arms are, with one knee caging his body here, the other leg straight. Some variations, I can have both legs straight. So you have 4 basic leg positions. How do I move my upper body? I can be basically perpendicular to him. His head is at 12. My body is at 9 here. And I begin to circle around his body. So his head is still at 12, but my body is now at 10, 11, or even 12. At 12 o'clock, that's called north-south position, or I'm old enough, and I've been doing Jiu-Jitsu long enough decades, to remember when we used to call that 69. Kids, ask your parents why. So we've covered 4 basic arm positions, 4 basic leg positions, a spectrum of body rotation. Now let's talk hip. Right now my hip is facing the ground, right? My pelvis is facing the ground. I can rotate my hips slightly. Right now my hips are facing this way, not straight down. Or I can turn my hips completely and change my legs. There's beginning to be a different position. In judo, they would call this a kezugatame or a kazuri kezugatame. In jiu-jitsu, it often gets lumped in with side control because it's essentially, you might flow here for a moment, depending on how the guy's moving, and then come back to here. Similarly, I could have my hips facing his legs, or I can change my leg position and have my hips facing right past him. You might do this to climb into the mount. Do another video on the mount. We have 5 hip positions. Completely turned, slightly turned, facing straight down, slightly turned towards his legs, completely turned towards his legs. Now there are all kinds of little details and little nuances. Some people, every time they get to side control, they try and open up the lapel. Other people, instead of going palm to palm, they're going to be reaching into the armpit to drive the head. Some people are going to be climbing this knee to sit on the hip. That's beginning to transition to knee on belly, which is another one of the canonical 6 positions, the 6 canonical positions. But if you don't know where to start, here's where to start. Just know that some attacks might involve going here, which was one of the other arm positions, switching my hips a little bit. I'm still in side mount, but now I'm in one of the different hip positions. Now, I secure my attack, I switch my hips again, another one of the hip positions to finish the attack. So that was all side mount. Thank you very much, Richie. That was all side mount, just using slightly different variations of side mount to flow through from the basic position to the finish. If you found this useful, I got 2 free resources for you. Go to grapplearts.com/book, because there you can download my Roadmap for BJJ book, which covers the 6 basic positions, including the different variations, the main attacks from each, the main strategies from each, and my sort of positional hierarchy of Jiu-Jitsu. Some positions are more dominant than other positions. The side mount that we covered, it's dominant. It's not the most dominant. Also, if you go to the Google Play Store or the App Store for iPhone, you can download the Roadmap for BJJ for free, which shows this and shows the hierarchy in video format. So go check out those 2 resources, grapplearts.com/book, or you can get the other one, grapplearts.com/roadmap, because that's links to the app. And I think you'll find that really useful. I've got a ton of great feedback from that. It's free. If you want to buy more, I do sell stuff, but you can get those 2 things for free, and you'll be off to a great start.